everybody, Russian Batman back with another random rants. Sorry for the audio, sounds a bit different. I'm recording this in a little bit of a different method. I usually do the voiceovers separately than from the background recording, but now I'm doing it all in one to give me less editing to do. Yeah, so it might be a little bit different. I don't know. This is my gameplay of me playing Bone Labs. Yeah, so. Now, today, I didn't want to release a random rants video. Actually, I want to do a drawing video. Um, but I don't think it's going to be ready by then. And also, this is kind of something a bit more topical I wanted to talk about. And that, well, I mean, relative to when this, comes out, it's a bit more topical. But I really wanted to talk about the state of the DC universe because it is freaking weird. That is for sure. Now, before I, go into this, I want to preface this by saying I am actually not a huge DC fan. I know that's kind of crazy to hear. Like I made my whole identity around Russian Batman, but I'm not actually, like I said, a big DC fan. I mean, I was always more of a Marvel guy when I was younger, and I kind of still am. I mean, well, relative because Marvel recently hasn't been the creme de la creme, but that being said, I've always kind of been more of a fan of Marvel's characters as opposed to DC's. I really like Batman and all his villains and his that kind of area of DC. I'm not a big fan of Superman. I'm not a big fan of Green Lantern. I'm not a I didn't really grow up with these characters. I don't personally kind of relate and really care that much about the characters. Of course, if there's a good DC movie with whatever DC character, of course it's going to get me invested, like Peacemaker, I really like him after watching the show. I really like the Suicide Squad characters after the show. It's not like I was a fan of the characters, then they made a movie of it. That's usually what Marvel is. Like, I haven't seen a single piece of media with Ghost Rider. I'm a big Ghost Rider fan. I don't know. It's a cool looking character. That's kind of the extent. I don't read comics or nothing like that. I'm not going to pretend I'm a big comic expert. I'll watch, occasional videos on them. But, I'm not some big expert. I don't read comics. But I do enjoy the characters. So, I guess you could call me a bit of a normie on that kind of stuff. But to preface what I'm about to say about the rest of the DC universe now, yeah. So, we have gotten... So, I think... It's confusing. So if you don't know the situation, basically, right, Warner Brothers a while ago got bought out by Discovery. When they got bought out by Discovery, David Zaslav took over, Warner Brothers, right? And then, a little bit later, put James Gunn in charge of being the creative head of the main DC universe. I think now they're calling it DCU instead of... I think so. Yeah, they're not calling it like they're not calling it like this. They're not calling it like the DCCU. It's not like the DC Cinematic Universe. They're just calling it the DC Universe, I guess. But yeah, so James Gunn took over, and things have been a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. Okay, with the decision to make James Gunn the head of DC, when I first heard it, I'm like, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that was kind of ever a great idea. I'm gonna be real. I love James Gunn. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the Suicide Squad. I love Peacemaker. I think it's all great. I don't think any of those things show that, like, building a larger the thing with James Gunn is he never really stays true to the comics, if that makes sense. He likes to he takes obscure. The reason why he takes obscure characters, not because he just likes working with obscure characters, is because if he changes them, no one cares. So, I think that's the main reason. I'm not saying, like I said, I think he can make great stories, and we're gonna have to just wait and see what this new DC universe looks like, to kind of get a real idea of what's going on. But and if you don't know kind of where the concern is coming from, is so we recently just got the news that the universe is most likely gonna be a complete reboot. Okay, meaning that the rest of the DC universe, starting with I think Zack Snyder's Superman, and I think it will be ending with Blue Beetle. Right, that all of that will not be part of the new main DC universe, by James Gunn. So he's kind of just starting fresh, which I mean, I kind of get, it's kind of it kind of makes sense, because I mean, with this, with the old universe, you do have a good amount, you have a good amount of restrictions with, what you could do with the characters. Obviously, you could add more, you can expand it, but you still have to work with the base level stuff in all of it. But yeah, so it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's very strange. I think the obviously, the news of what's his name, Henry Cavill, right? Henry Cavill, he quit I believe he quit The Witcher to become Superman, and then he's like, yeah, no, you're not Superman. And so it does seem like they're rebooting a lot of characters. It doesn't seem like Wonder Woman's coming back. The actor who plays Wonder Woman. Doesn't seem like Ben Affleck's Batman's coming back. So it does seem like a complete reboot, which is. But at the same time, I don't know if James Gunn is gonna, like. There's been rumors that he's gonna keep his own characters, but not. And I think it's very strange, okay? Because it's such a complete reboot. Like it doesn't seem like it should be happening now, if that makes sense. Like, characters like Black Adam just showed up. Characters like Shazam and all these stuff are gonna have to be rebooted, but like, I think the actor said, who plays Shazam, said he's still good in the universe. So like, I don't know if they're gonna keep some characters and not, because if they do keep some characters, it's gonna be so weird, because it's gonna be like the characters from the old universe, but in this new universe. It's sounding messy, basically, right now. Obviously, I think it's going to be all cleared up soon, but right now, everyone is just super confused, and not going to lie, a little bit disheartened, because everyone really likes, I feel like everyone really likes the actors who were in, like the Justice League and Superman and Ben Affleck as Batman. I feel like a lot of people like these actors. Not a lot of people obviously like the movies, me included, right? I think the choice, Ben Affleck as Batman, I think he has a great build for Batman. His bat suit is really cool looking. His Batmobile is really nice. I mean, except for the fact he uses guns. But other than that, I think everything's in, like, Henry Cavill's Superman seems perfect. All the, Wonder Woman, all these things are great. Just the movies they're in aren't great, right? So as soon as James Gunn came in, we kind of all thought like, oh. Finally, we're going to get someone who can understand how to make a great movie, and we're still going to have these great actors attached to it, right? But now it's like, well, no, the movies, I don't know the quality of the movies, obviously. The movie's still going to be great, but the same people it's not going to be the same people, right? It's going to be, I think the only movie we know about in James, I keep on, for some reason I keep on thinking of James Cameron. No, James Gunn. I think I was just watching a video about Avatar. I think that's why. But yeah, the James Gunn universe, it's gonna be so I think the only movie we know about is that he wants to. I think the only official thing he said is that they're gonna make a Superman movie, and it's gonna be about a younger I think that's the only thing that's been said. I think he's made tweets about it. Like, I think he's tweeted that he wants to do something with Lobo, which I heard a rumor that they were gonna recast Jason Momoa as Lobo. I don't think that honestly, I saw some other fan casts of the guy who plays not Homelander, Butcher from The Boys, and I think that would be a little bit better than Jason Momoa. And that's the thing, like, I keep on listing off these actors, and I keep on thinking like, damn, like, Jason Momoa is not going to be Aquaman anymore. Like, and also, like, will we get an Aquaman, right? Like, it feels like way too soon, if that makes sense. Because, like, sure, you might say the DC universe is a little bit of a mess, but I don't think it's, like, unfixable. And I think the only things that were making it messy were kind of the whole plans. It's also really funny, right, that the whole DC's being, rebooted when so essentially, the next few movies aren't gonna matter, right? Shazam isn't gonna matter, Flash isn't gonna matter, Blue Beetle isn't gonna matter. I think and Aquaman 2 isn't gonna matter, right? Because this is gonna be rebooted soon, anyways. And if those movies don't matter, it's really funny. It's kind of ironic that Batgirl got canceled, but like now Batgirl isn't it, like it didn't mean anything, right? Because it seemed like they were canceling Batgirl to kind of make the continuity, I would say, work more. That was kind of my theory because I didn't know for sure why. Like my theory was that they canceled Batgirl because the new DC, the new heads were like, okay, you know, these movies, have like a consistent thing, but this one has what it was supposed to have like Ben Affleck, but it was gonna be Ben Affleck was no, not Ben Affleck. The old Batman was gonna be the new Batman of this universe, but the Commissioner Gordon was gonna be the same. So it seemed all confusing. So I assumed, okay, that's why they did it, right? Because they want to bring back they want to bring back the actors from this DC universe, right? They don't want to bring in other things. I know they're gonna do it in the Flash movie, right? But there's gonna be, but all they had to do is like, okay, we'll just tweak a little bit of the Flash movie, so he doesn't become like the main Batman of this universe. Michael Keaton doesn't become like the main Batman of this universe, but he'll still be in that movie. But we kind of have to cut Batgirl because he's a big part. Well, maybe not even a big part. I don't know. This is my speculation. But now it's all being rebooted, so the cancellation of Batgirl like mattered less, which I think is just it's funny. Like. And like we'll see how this reboot goes. I think there's a correct way to do it, and I think there's an incorrect way to do it. I think because like we don't know the movie timeline, the movie lineup. I think it would have been really cool if they did for to, as an excuse to reboot. I think it would have been maybe cool if they did something like, because like if they truly wanted to make it make sense that they had if they have like some characters from the other universe and some characters from this new universe, reboot universe, I think it maybe they might want to start this universe with like a crisis on Infinite Earth situation. I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't be cool, but I think it would just be a way to explain. Like if like let's say for example like if James Gunn really wants to bring back some of his characters, or let's say like because I don't think we've gotten confirmed yet if he's truly getting away with like characters like Jason Momoa, but like let's say like he wanted to keep some actors and get rid of others, which also would be kind of scummy too. I think like, oh, you want to keep John Cena as Peacemaker, but you're gonna fire Henry Cavill, and because it doesn't fit like his particular vision. I don't know. Like I said, we kind of have to just wait till the movies come out to see if they're good. But if they wanted to explain something like that, I think maybe a crisis on Infinite Earth situation. Maybe like they could do like maybe they start the universe with like some justice. Because here's the thing, I think DC movies have had the most amount of, like, I know Marvel has a good amount of setup that isn't paid off at all, but I think DC just has by far the most amount of setup that hasn't been paid off and that will never get paid off. Like the Snyderverse, and the last scene in the new Snyderverse movie with the post-apocalyptic DC universe. I think that would be great to, see. Even if it was in just like an like here's the thing. I don't think they need to like completely get rid of this DC universe, right? And it sounds like they are, because here's the thing, right? Even though James Gunn, he's the head of the entire DC, not just the main DC universe. He's the head of the entire DC, and he's allowing stuff like the Joker and Matt Reeves' Batman to stay a separate universe, which I think is great, right? I think obviously keep those movies. That's good. I'm glad he's not getting rid of that. But at the same time, if he's allowing other kind of continuities to exist at the same time, like to allow, because he said, I think in one of his tweets, he said Batman's gonna be a big part of this new universe, right? Which is gonna mean another Batman recast, which we've had so many, and that's gonna mean what? Probably a new Joker and a new Batman's Rogues Gallery. Are we gonna get a new Batman movie at the same time as the Matt Reeves Batman movie, or is it just gonna be like it's gonna be Batman exists in this universe, but he doesn't get a movie, just like the old universe? Like I said, Ben Affleck never got his own Batman movie. He was just in other movies, so it's just gonna be the same as the old universe, but with a new cast. It's weird, and even if like I think they probably could, it's a bit frustrating because I think I don't mind the complete reboot, but I think they could have like maybe just keep the old universe maybe as a separate thing. And you know what? Maybe that would be a good idea. Is to kind of, you could have this reboot universe, but you could also have the old universe to kind of tell more, um, more solo driven stories, if that makes sense, right? Like, what if they wanted to make a what's it called? Oh, what's the Rock's character? Black Adam. Let's say they want to make Black Adam 2, the Superman versus Black Adam. They could still do it, but like just in, it could be just part of the old universe. I know, like I said, that would confuse audiences, but I think they're already gonna confuse audiences if they're gonna have a new Batman while the other Batman movies, still has its own continuity, and also they're still doing the Black Superman, which I just kind of think in general is kind of stupid. But at the same time, they're going to have a new Superman movie at the same time as this Black Superman movie, which is going to be in a separate... Like, we kind of all assumed once the new regime came in and saw how, kind of stupid the idea was, it's been canceled. But no, they've confirmed it. It hasn't been canceled. It's still happening. So they're going to already have these, same characters in separate continuities happening at the same time. I don't see why they couldn't maybe, just kept the current DCU, maybe not make a full-on Superman movie, because then they would have 3 Superman movies and 3 continuities, but maybe make the Henry Cavill Superman, Henry Cavill Black Adam face-off. I don't know, that could have been cool. Or maybe they could have, I think a really good one is, maybe continue the Snyderverse in a separate thing. Maybe not as a big scale thing, but like, wouldn't it be so cool to see that maybe one more Justice League movie in in the Snyderverse, right? Because that end credit scene with the post-apocalyptic, Snyder, DC universe, maybe they could have just ended it there. Maybe that would have been a good idea. Maybe let this might be a bit radical, but maybe let Zack Snyder, right, have maybe one, maybe two, maybe just one. Let's just say one big finale for this new DC universe. He could just end it all with this post-apocalyptic, right, DC universe. Maybe, it's about them trying to I don't remember what the exact plot was, what the plot would be, but let's say, this could actually have a good excuse for like the bad guys winning, and not many people being like left alive. Maybe this last, maybe they could have like a last Snyderverse movie where maybe let's say like most of the characters die, but they trying to defeat the new what's it called? What's the main villain called? I don't even remember. A Darkseid, right? They could have had like Darkseid, the main heroes having to finally take down Darkseid to save the rest of humanity, but they like die in the process. So therefore, it kind of makes that, it gives I think a more rounded conclusion, right, to this DC universe, because like the current conclusion we're gonna have to this old DC universe, the only remnants we're gonna have, it's gonna end in Blue Beetle and Blue Beetle and what's that other movie called? Aquaman 2. Like, sure, those are probably gonna be good movies. I really like the first Aquaman movie, and I'm sure Blue Beetle looks pretty cool. And I know a lot of people wanted a Blue Beetle, but think about Blue Beetle. He's just gonna be in this one movie, and that's it. Like, we're gonna get no more Blue Beetle. We're gonna get no more of these new characters. It's if we are gonna get them, they're probably gonna wait a long time to implement them in. So I think this was kind of overall a weird decision. I think, and I don't know, like I said, if James Gunn was the best choice for this. It seems like he's gonna make some cool movies, but at the same time, I think he's kind of sacrificing cool ideas for the future. I don't know. That's kind of my take. It's a bit weird. I think in January we're gonna see what the situation is. But yeah, if you guys like the video, leave a like. Yeah, and I'll get you. There'll be more regular. I think next week there'll be a bit more normal, less random rants and interviews and all that stuff. I'll get some more content out. And sorry for the 2 videos per week thing. Like I said, I just haven't had access to my like I said, I'm kind of like between houses, and haven't had that much access to all my minifigure stuff. I did kind of do some sculpting, so maybe I'll show off that kind of. But yeah, so sorry about that, and I do apologize for kind of like this week hasn't had really any good videos. But yeah, that's kind of my take on the DC universe, and I hope, like I said, maybe as soon as we see this new DC timeline, maybe it'll all make sense. It'll be like, oh, this is, thank God, James Gunn. But right now, it's not looking great. And I mean, yeah, no, he has a hard task to, you know, kind of revitalize it. But I think they didn't need to completely reboot it. But again, kind of makes sense. But yeah, if you guys like the video, leave a like, subscribe, and go watch the 2011 film Rango. And yeah, you all have a nice rest of the day. See you later. Ciao. Bye bye.